Hi, welcome to Enlarging the Conversation. My name is Jackie Como and this is HSER 508. So through this class, I did a personality analysis and determined my personality type. I also did the journal assignments and reflected on the readings. Through the discussion board, I was able to expand on the conversation, and then through the exercises in the listening book by Burley Allen, I was able to learn how to go from level 3 listening to level 1 listening. My overarching goal for this class is to to move from level 3 listening to level 1 listening. I need to listen without advising or agreeing with the person that I'm having a conversation with. I also need to stay away from the flat brain tango and express how I feel clearly without pointing fingers or attacking. As far as my background, I'm a behavioral blend of a CIS that I learned from the personality quiz. This means that I'm someone who works well with others, yet I can be reserved at times. I'm also driven by my thoughts and feelings, probably more than I should be, and I do like to be recognized for my hard work. As far as my positive influences, from my background, I'm an organized person. I feel like I'm an inspiration to others. I really thrive off of peace and harmony, and I work well with others. The negative influences of my background are that I'm analytical. Incompetent people tend to annoy me. I do tend to avoid conflict if I can, and I am a perfectionist. I try not to be, but sometimes it just comes out. My barriers to interpersonal context are that I avoid conflict if at all possible. I judge. I don't share what's bothering me, and I have feelings of inadequacy. Internal noise pollution. I learned early on that children are to be seen and not heard. And this made me not want to express how I feel. That I felt like I didn't have value in what I had to say, so I just kept it all to myself. I was also told to not feel sorry for myself. And so I learned not to express how I feel. When something bothers me, you just hold it in because you're just feeling sorry for yourself. Don't share. I also learned that I'm okay, you're not okay. I strive to be the best that I could because I was told that I wasn't ever good enough, and I was never going to be good enough. And so I worked hard to try to be better than everybody else. And so I learned that I'm okay and you're not. That doesn't matter what you do, that I always have one up. Bias listening. I'm always thinking about, well, what would I do in that situation? My emotions. I tend to let positive emotions influence what I hear and how I hear it, or negative emotions influence how I feel and what I hear. And my tendency to analyze. I allow that to take over. So the solutions I came up with for internal noise are to recognize that I do have those patterns from my childhood, and that it's okay to express my feelings, and that I do have value in the conversation. I also need to recognize the other internal barriers, like my analysis of conversations, allowing my feelings to get in the way. Focus on listening and not letting those barriers hinder what I hear. I think it might take focusing on one of those barriers at a time rather than trying to work on all of them at one time. As far as external noise pollution, people's mannerisms tend to bug me, and I focus on what they're doing and how they're acting rather than what they're saying. Being too cold, I tend to focus on, the fact that I'm cold and how much longer do I have to be here, rather than what's going on in the conversation. Scenery, I have a tendency to allow my eyes to wander around, looking at people, looking out the window, or whatever's going on around me, rather than focusing on the conversation. Time pressure. If I have a lot of meetings or an appointment to get to, I have a tendency to think about, how much time do I have left, or, okay, hurry up and stop talking so that I can go, so that I can interject and, at least say, hey, I have to go. And then being outside my comfort zone. I tend to focus on being uncomfortable rather than the situation and what's going on in the situation. Solutions to external noise. I need to realize that every person acts and speaks differently, and to just let them be them, and to not allow how they're acting affect what I'm listening to. I still need to focus on what the person is saying. I need to make sure that I bring a jacket to meetings, or to wherever I am, to make sure that I can be warm and that that's, not going to hinder what I'm hearing. I need to sit with my back towards whatever the distraction is if I can. I tend to, look at the person that's walking around in the room, even though it may not be the speaker, or look around at the environment. And so I just need to focus on the conversation and let the distractions not bother me. I need to not overload my schedule so that those time constraints aren't interfering with my listening. I also need to focus on the purpose of the situation and not on my discomfort. So when I'm in a new situation, I need to focus on, focus on what's going on rather than my discomfort, so that I can listen. I can hear what's going on. My plan of action is to keep in mind that my identity consists of all the experiences that I've had from birth until now. I need to use the talker-listener cards to specifically express what's bothering me without pointing fingers or attacking. I also need to keep in mind that I own the problem that's bothering me, and that'll also help to not point fingers, and that it's not what someone's doing, it's the fact that I'm letting what someone's doing bother me. I need to view people as the experiences that they have had and not as a stereotype. So as a homeless person, not to view them or stereotype them as, oh, they must be a drug addict, or they must be lazy. Oh, they can find a job, they just don't want to. So focus on, maybe the situations. Maybe they grew up in a poor household, and that it's not their fault, and that's all they know. I also need to focus on the conversation and filter out internal and external noise. So I need to follow, my solutions, as I described earlier. I need to listen and respond back to others through level 1 listening, so that they'll do the same to me. I've had people walk away from me while I'm trying to talk to them, or I know people are distracted when I'm, talking to them, and that bothers me. So I need to focus on giving them the attention that I would want. I found from an article by Brown that listening is overlooked within communication because it takes skill to do it correctly. I also found that individuals who are aware of their predominant listening style often find it difficult to switch to a style better suited in the situation, and that was from an article by Worthington. And last, when I feel myself getting emotional, I need to remember the thud and swallow, take a deep breath, and not allow the flat brain tango to take over. I need to, focus and not allow my emotions to overwhelm me, and then let everything that I'm feeling come out of my mouth. So I have a lot to work on, and I really appreciate this class for pointing the things out that I can focus on to make myself a better communicator, a better listener. So thank you.